Hi, and welcome back to the Algebra 2 PLC around Unit 3, an introduction to trigonometric functions. I'm James Key with the MCPS Math team, and I'm here on the set of Homework Hotline Live. In this final segment, we're going to look at the content standards that relate to trigonometry to really get a sense for how those standards are addressed across the trajectory of learning in this unit. Let's take a look. So within the conceptual category around functions, there's a whole domain of standards that relate to the trigonometric functions, the FTF domain. And that domain is broken down into three clusters. Extend the domain using the unit circle, model periodic phenomena with trig functions, and prove and apply trigonometric identities. Let's go ahead and take a close look at each of the standards listed under the trig functions. And let's just talk about how those are addressed in Algebra 2 or whether they're not addressed in Algebra 2, as some of these standards will be addressed in pre-calculus. Standard 1 focuses on radian measure. Again, that standard was addressed beginning in the geometry course, but students apply and extend their understanding in the SLTs in Topic 2 of this unit. Standard 2 talks about enabling the extension of trig functions to all real numbers, not just those that lie between 0 and 90. And that's accomplished through the coordinate plane. Standards 3 and 4 are plus standards, and as such will be addressed in the pre-calculus course. For the curious, those standards relate to, again, the special triangles and being able to use geometry to determine the values of sine, cosine, and tangent for angles that arise in the context of special right triangles. Standard 4 talks about symmetry and periodicity and making the connection between the trig functions and the unit circle. This standard actually is addressed in Algebra 2 through the SLTs, but will be addressed in greater depth in pre-calculus. Under modeling with trig functions, we have Standard 5, choosing a trig function to model a periodic phenomenon, knowing its amplitude, its frequency, and its midline. Standards 6 and 7 are plus standards. They'll be addressed in pre-calculus. These standards focus on inverse functions and are not a point of emphasis in Algebra 2. Standards 8 and 9 involve proving and applying trigonometric identities. Standard 8 requires that students prove the Pythagorean identity. This occurs in one of the SLTs in Topic 2. And knowing that identity, they can find values of sine, cosine, and tangent if they know any one of these, as well as the quadrant in which the terminal side of the angle lies. Standard 9, a plus standard, will be developed in pre-calculus. It involves the addition and subtraction formulas, sine alpha plus beta, cosine alpha plus beta, and tangent alpha plus beta. In addition, we have the interpreting functions domain. And it's worth a mention that one of the key features that's listed here is periodicity. And now that students have an understanding of periodic phenomena through their study of the trig functions, they can add this to their analysis of functions. Also listed in the interpreting functions domain, under Standard 7, we have Part E. Students should be able to graph trigonometric functions, showing the period of the graph, the midline, as well as the amplitude. I hope that this discussion of the content standards is helpful to you in terms of your long-range planning, your study of the curriculum, and your collaborative work with your PLC. Again, if you have questions about the curriculum at any time, please feel free to send them to us via email at mcpsalgebra2plc@gmail.com. Thanks so much for joining us.